Welcome back to the Spawn Podcast. We're glad to have you back. Najua mlikuwa mmenimiss sana. It's only been one episode nimekuwa nimetembea kidogo, but I'm glad to be back. My very able co-host. How are you doing?
I am very fine, thank you.
Co-host is crazy.
Hujasema mimi naitwa nani wewe? Ni introduce vizuri. You need to introduce me pomp.
Pole. At this point hata nijiintroduce.
Do it again. Running it one more time. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to the Spawn Podcast. My name is Mariko. Glad to be here. My very able co-host, Wise International. And we have a new host that will be joining us. A new guest, rather.
Yeah.
Come host, but bado hajapita internship, so tamuya radhi. Mr. Wise, how are you doing?
Niko fiti. I thank the Lord that tuko hapa leo. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, mimi mnajua jina yangu. I don't need to repeat myself. But just because of the new viewers, my name is Wise Kenya International, coming to you all the way from Kenya, Nairobi. Chani siseme Westlands tena, nimezoea kusema Westlands.
Nairobi.
But yes, as we start this amazing day, I would love the center guest to introduce himself. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why? Why should I? Wagwan. My name is Terra. T-R-A-H. For those who are thinking.
Terra.
Terra.
He's not a terrorist.
We're not running 9/11 again. But yeah. My name's Terra. Pleasure to meet you. 18. Currently just snooping around, assisting in church and all. But yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks, man.
Assisting for the Lord.
Yeah, of course.
Leo, as we said, tuko na Gen Z kwa building. Gen Z. Ama wewe pia ni Gen Z. Wewe si Gen Z wewe. Wewe ni millennials, ndio?
Gen Z is 98.
Bado unanizeesha na unajua huko nje mazeni nimeunda CV.
Hey, so there's a very interesting conversation that tulikuwa tuna have hapa hivi about relationships, so that at least to get to learn from each other, especially saa hivi wenye watu wamekuwa na baridi huku nje, watu wanataka joto kidogo. So tumekuwa tukiulizwa maswali hapa na pale. So you're asking something.
Yeah, I pose this to everyone. Like, genuinely, according to you, how do you feel about 18-year-olds who have the desire or who are infatuated with people, and how do you recommend that they go out there, meet new chicks, or if they're gay, meet new of their own, and just, get to date them, get to meet them, and like actually get into a relationship? Is it okay for them to do so? That's genuinely the question.
Yeah. Okay.
Since there's a lot of opposition behind it.
Dogo weather for two imefanya mfikiria mbali relationships. Wow.
Mike iko hapa. Mike iko hapa.
Nimeiona. Jani venye hiyo swali, unajua miuliza hivi kabidi nime go back. To thinking what I was doing at that age.
Unasema nika uko 50 bana. Kwani uko how old?
Unajua mimi si mzee hivyo.
Buda.
No, but in the real sense, it's not something that I would advise on. However, I would counter by saying, by advising them to approach it with caution and to approach it with a lot of wisdom. Because then again, these early years, ndio, sio mbona unacheka.
I'm trying to think of someone approaching that relationship with caution. So anatembea pole pole.
And a slow one.
It's figure eight.
But that's my head.
Yeah, to approach it with caution. Keeping in mind that I've come across people that in this span of from 18 to 20, it's one of their golden years. These are the years that have been the foundation for them. So napata, when someone gets exposed to relationships this young, napata, it's the onset of trauma. It's the onset of these mentalities that, quote unquote, men are and women are because of the experiences that they had earlier on And among the very first experiences that they had, which set foundation for all these other relationships that they come to form later on in life. But unapata someone, okay, there's this hypothetical person called Greg. Greg had his first relationship akiwa 18. So, in 2 months, Greg got into a relationship and got hurt. But then, the cause was not that the partner was not ready. In actual sense, it was because the partner was not ready. The actual reason was that they were not ready, both of them. Because you see, this other partner was pursuing something different, was building on their life, was engaged in driving school and computer classes. But unapata Greg, after coming out of high school, he was so fired up for this relationship. It was funny, you don't do these things until you're 18, don't get into a relationship in high school. So what should I do? I'm done with high school. Why not? So utapata Greg amechukulia this no for rejection. So hata akiproceed on to campus, napate someone else who's ready, atakuwa na ile mindset ya I may be ready, but she may not be ready. So the possibility of rejection is very high. So napata hata approach from a very platonic point of view, na this other partner is actually ready. So napata it's two different mindsets, but in the same space. I feel can digress. Okay, reason number 1 niyo. 2 is I feel like, like when you're 18, you're not, how do I put this? Self-aware. You're not self-aware of yourself. Like you're still getting to know yourself. Nah, you have all these things that are happening in your life, and you're getting exposed to the world now that you're out of high school. And most people are from a boarding setting. So kisha come out, you're exposed to life and in all its rawness. So napata a relationship is not, najua with relationship comes a lot of seriousness and commitment. And of course in that space, I don't believe that you're ready to make certain decisions at that point in time. It's all about your priorities. But of course, like I wouldn't tell a viewer who's 18 years old to 20 years old in that range, I wouldn't tell them no. I would tell them to proceed with caution. Also be very self-aware of yourself before you need, how do I put this? Unifying yourself with this other partner. Yeah, that's basically it from my end.
Kizungu ya Cambridge, unifying.
Kizungu ni
mimi sina story mingi. Mimi, acha nikwambie, what I was telling you before the camera started rolling. Rolling. Is I don't advise people not to date. I just tell them my perspective. Then you go and decide. You understand? Because when I was young, nikiambiwa nisitafute dem, sasa ndo nilikuwa nataka kutafuta dem. So understanding that situation and also having a brother.
Ngoja, umesema ni young. Unaongea ni
kwa
62.
I'm very old.
Very old.
But when I was that age, when I was 18, the only thing I wanted to do was the things that I was prohibited to do. Usiende kukula kwa jirani. Usiende out na wasichana, nisikupate na wasichana kwa nyumba. Usiende out, sijui kufanya hivi na hivi. Because even my parents never taught me about sex. My parents never taught me to sijui be celibate, sijui your body is a temple of God, as much as they are pastors. Because that conversation was very sensitive to them. And I don't think they were taught. So if they didn't know better, how would they do better?
Yeah, true.
That makes sense.
So since at the end of it, mi sikufundishwa, when I got to a point where when I got to a point where I had to get out of my my Pero's house, the only things that were in my head were I have to fulfill all these things I was being put in bondage to do. Not to do, actually. So, how, for instance, kwenda parties, madam, sleeping with them, relationships, everything apart from kenye sikuambia nisifanye ni nisikunywe na sijai kunywa. But every other thing I was told not to do, I did.
Kwani maji unamezanga?
Naongelela te hiyo ya wacha. So
no, just for context.
Think about it. So now you imagine your situation yote, I was only focused on fulfilling the forbidden. And I think that's our flesh as human beings. So I take the Christ approach of showing you the consequences and experiences of doing the right thing and not forcing you to do what I have in my mind as an experience. For instance, the 10 commandments were do not. They were commandments. Hakukuwa na option. Unaget? When Christ came, there is an option for you to decide or not to decide. You get? So, when you approach Christ, you're approaching Christ from a point of love. That Christ has given you free will for you to choose to love him or not to love him.
True,
Get?
true.
But he's showed you the advantage of being with him. So ni wewe ndio uamue. And then even after you are with him, there is grace even when you fall. In the Old Testament, grace was scarce. Ananias and Sapphira.
Yeah.
Grace inikuwa
Very scarce.
like you fail to fulfill the commandments and the laws, you are you're in English kweli. You are is it is it striked? No, you're not striked. Is it struck?
Struck.
You're struck
yeah.
dead. Naona wengine Jericho msee anaiba treasures, anaingiza kwa tent yake. God anajua, ana command Israelites watafute ni nani, wanapata ni nani, spear inaangushwa kwa mwili yake, msee ana dedi. Like it was so radical. Israelites hawakuingia promised land. But ukicheki Christ, there is such an immense amount of grace, because grace is a merited favor.
True.
And it's the same thing that we should be approaching from the context of now relationships. You get, just show someone the positive and the negative. You can decide to date someone. You see, even when you mongelelea same sex relationships, unaweza msee anaweza sema okay, mimi sijai kuwa na Charlie ati niseme ati I can understand same sex. I do not understand. You get, the Bible is against it.
Yes.
I will
Very
tell
strongly.
you my experience from the context of what I know. I will tell you, I know that as per me, the Bible imeniambia same-sex relationships is a sin.
True. True.
And then, if you ever want to leave a legacy, you can never leave that legacy with another man. There has to be a woman who can make both of you have a child. A man will never make you have a child.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
Because both of you have sperms. You get?
Yeah.
So it's scientific, at the same time it's biblical. Then now from your point of relationships, understanding that, because I know people right now who are 19 years and they are more mature mentally, actually holistically, spiritually, mentally, financially, recreationally, they are more mature than people who are 45 or 50. Because God amewafanya waka experience life in a way that imewapatia hiyo wisdom. So you can find yourself sitting down with a 20-year-old ama 19-year-old, and the wisdom they have, hadi mnajiuliza, hey, all of this in one person.
Yeah.
So at the end of it, I can't box myself and say they have to be 30 or 25 so that they get married. You get?
Yeah,
I can't
true,
limit
true.
God. So the best thing that I can do is give them that consequence. I give them the experience. There's this road and then there's this road. Even Christ did the same thing. He's the way, the truth and the life.
Yeah.
So unaweza amua mchukue ama uchukue ingine. Si ndio? So wewe
Yote
mwenyewe
kwe.
ndio utaamua. unaweza amua uchukue side ya Pharisees ama unaweza amua uchukue side ya Christ. And it's the same thing that we need to do, approaching that from that perspective. Because I think the problem we have is we are easy to advise, but it's very hard for us to mention to the same people our scars, our mistakes. It's very easy for us to say, usifanye, but it's very hard for us to say, why?
Why?
Because most people utawaambia, okay, usifanye, akikuuliza why. Kwa sababu, Biblia inasema, why? Si Biblia inasema,
wewe usifanye tu.
why?
Yeah.
Okay, because, okay, Biblia inasema, same-sex marriage is not godly. Why? Kwa sababu Biblia inasema, why?
Why?
There has to be a why behind that. Because you can't follow God blindly.
Yes.
You have to find out the reason as to why that law was set. Why was it set? Because it caused depopulation on earth. It was against God's original intention of, and man and woman shall become one flesh. You understand?
Yeah.
So when someone understands that why, you will not leave a legacy. This is a mindset that has been propagated from the beginning huko kwa Sodom and Gomorrah, not from the context of people living a lifestyle that is going to enrich the community, but people trying to seek their flesh to an abominable state to try and feel things that they've never felt. You understand?
Yeah.
Which means all of us, even outside homosexuality and all that, all of us heterosexuals, even sisi tunakuanga na zinaitwanga nini mahanjam, sisi tunakuanga na feelings, the lust and all that. Even we have them.
Yeah, true.
The only difference is this other side, they have reached to a point maybe because of trauma, childhood trauma or pain, wamefika hiyo point yenye hawataki story yote kuhusu madem.
Yeah.
Because of maybe someone molested them when they were a child, but there's a root cause of it.
Yeah.
But sisi, maybe sisi ni juu, kama mimi, niliambiwa story ya wasichana, so mimi nikitoka home, I was
on the peak of your
convinced,
mind.
lazima. Unaget?
Yeah.
So maybe for them, it was just a traumatic experience. Because I do not want anything to do with ladies. You get? Ama saa zingine ni, since this door was opened, wacha niendelee. So looking at it from all those sides, and then not tackling that specific situation of even the relationships, but tackling the root cause. Why, for instance, you want to get into a relationship? Why? See, because I love this girl. Why?
You love her.
Because she's the... Why?
Because
you ask that why, hadi mtu afike hiyo point yenye anajua the action. Because unajua most of us tunajidanganyanga. Tunajuanga the reason. Unataka kudozi na dem lakini unasema, she's my woman. I love her. God has sent her. She's the Proverbs 18 and 31 woman. Lakini unapatana na mse anakuuliza why? Because she does this. Why? Why her? And because this is why? Inafika mahali unashindwa. But if you can find someone that can explain that why to every single time you will ask it, hapo sasa unajua this person knows the reason as to why they are with this person. Because you don't get into relationships because you need, acha niseme kwa camera, people, if you ever find yourself in a place where you are getting into a relationship because you need to get into that relationship is your idol. And your identity is based on that relationship. Because relationships should never be from the context of I need you.
Yeah.
You should not need them. If you need them, that means they are your idol.
Yeah, true.
You get? I don't get to have a relationship because you complete me. If you complete me, then who is God? That means if you leave, you have taken my half. That means I am no longer full.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
So, lazima tufikie point yenye ukiingia kwa relationship, uko zile za hivi. Mtu akiamua aende ni sawa. Ukiamua ukae ni sawa. So, I am with you because I want you, not because I need you. It's the same thing na God. God does not need us.
But we need
He
him.
can function without us. But he wants us. Unaget?
True.
I guess nimemaliza hiyo kitu. Kuna story nyingine. So ni hiyo tu. So, fanyeni kenye mnaona, choose. There's life, there's death. So wewe ndo ufikirie gun in your
Blue
life,
pill, red pill.
gun in your death. There is one side that is focused on killing. If you get into a relationship too early, what happens? You get to mostly have trauma, and
True.
lead to future broken relationships.
Mhm.
You get to, most of the times people get to have sex, virginity yako inaenda haya, hata hiyo story imeisha, to get to a point where unakuwa player, you get unataka tu kudozi na wase wengi, so you get to destroy. It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And then there's this other side where you decide, okay, let me wait. And then, do you know, actually in other religions like Waarabu, we don't know if for Muslims it's the same, but there are religions where if you are a virgin, you are more valuable than someone who is not. So you say kikuja kukulipia ni mahari, sindio? Dowry.
Dowry.
Yeah. When someone is coming to pay for your dowry, they will pay more just because you're a virgin. That means there is value in that. You get?
Yeah.
So abstinence has its value. So it's for you to look at the pros and the cons. If the pros for this other side of doing it when you're 16 or 17 outweigh this other side, make your decision. But just know, every action has a consequence.
Yeah.
Positive or negative, but every action has a consequence.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was just like a by the way of this conversation about relationships. For more information, reach out to the man himself, who will be telling us his take as he finishes. What is your take? Because we don't know this one.
Okay. First of all, I have to respect the fact that that is something that even us, as the young adults, we have to respect. Because, you know, it's even stated, and it's a basic principle. You only gain wisdom by gaining knowledge and by experiencing things on the field, for example. So there are those who right now, they'll be like, yo, this guy said this, blah, 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 blah. Who is he? I don't know him. It doesn't affect me anyway. GG is my guy. I'm going, and I'm going to get into a relationship. Then there's now ending up in the, let's say, blue pill scenario, where they are heartbroken, or they are traumatized, or they become a victim, or a static, like our pastor says, a statistic. Then, by the end of the day, is now when they realize, oh yeah, this is what happens, and then now they become you. Someone who explains, yo, my guy, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. But now you see, based on our generation, mainly from social media, we're kind of put in a state where no matter what, we're kind of trying to live lives of other people. And we're being influenced so much that it's to a point where when someone real comes to you, you can't like believe that they're saying the truth. Because social media is all fabricated.
Yeah.
Life is fabricated on social media. Someone will say, yo, I got this piece, I got a timepiece, I got this chain, I got this car from doing this, and this. Which is now why sugar mummies are a thing. Since we're just told, yo, go out there, get money quick, do this. So to them, they might be like on just scrolling on TikTok or on Reels and just seeing another fine girl, another fine girl, another fine girl. Then their boys are like, I have this fine girl, let me try this. So there's also peer pressure involved. So now from being a hard head, peer pressure, and from basic other factors that I might not get into right now, they kind of lose it. So we can't really say, I can't really say that even I myself as a person, if I was to live here right now and be given an opportunity to be in a relationship, that I'd follow. But what I can say is that for those out there who are genuinely gonna listen, since this is something that is to impact the people, the young generation, what I'd say is go out there, gain experience if you know you can handle it. But listen to the experiences of other people, because there's a reason as to why they're saying it. Listen to it. If you feel like that's not you, or if you're being burdened by your background or by peer pressure or anything, you take the risk. Because as you said earlier, taking risks is something that we as people should do. Because it's a basic principle: high risk, high gain, high return. So if they risk it, and get to the better side, good for them. But if they don't, then what do? They gain experience and become another person who would lead the rest to come. So my take would be, listen, yes, but if you feel like, genuinely, you feel like, okay, first of all, before getting into a relationship, look at this person. Look at their emotional intelligence. Look at how they act. Look at what they do. Look at the basic principles and their basic boundaries. What makes them who they are. And if you feel like that connects with you, fine. But don't also ignore the experiences and the information that you have been placed on by the older generation and by those who are older than you and who have come before you and said, please don't do this now. You're not mature enough. Just relax. Figure yourself out. Then see what to do.
I think one napendanga kuleta drama kidogo as we finish. there's one thing I can pose as per what I've learned. Experience is not necessarily the best teacher.
Why? Let me ask why.
Thank you. At least now you're learning.
Now I think
Now you're learning.
it's a rabbit hole. It's
You're
a
learning,
rabbit hole.
you're learning.
So
You're growing.
Why do I believe experience is not the best teacher? Experience is a teacher, but not the best. How?
okay.
You might be so experienced in getting a lot of money and getting opportunities, but you do not have the wisdom or the knowledge to actually maintain or manage that money. Someone might be 16 years old that has been taught ama amekuwa exposed to a point of reading books. Because the novels that we actually advise to read, like Atomic Habits, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all those things, these are people's lives. So you're learning from them. And it might be very unwise and me for someone to experience listening to you and your life stories and see the consequences, and you've been given wisdom by God to discern, okay, so I am seeing a pattern here. All these people have been doing this thing, and this has been the result. It's like someone comes and tells me, if you take 100, not even 100, if you take 1.2 million and invest in a car, and you don't have 10 million in your account, do not buy that car. Why? Because you will not be able to maintain it, and at the same time, it is a direct liability.
True.
Because it is not an asset.
Yeah.
And then you listen to another person say something else, and then you decide, okay, you ni yenyu, but me, I want to experience it. You understand? Jesus, tukiongelea word ya God. There's a reason as to why Christ went through all those things, so that we don't have to go through all the same things. We will go through other things, but there is a wisdom that we have to make us knowledgeable, to know that at this specific time, when I experience this is how I should tackle it. For example, natoka hapa, umekuja ukaniambia, you are used to going to clubs, but uliacha. Nikikuuliza why, unasema, haiko kubenefit na unirealize, inapoteza tu do yako, inakufanya upatane na mademu wengine, wenye wanakupoteza, and you find yourself even more depressed.
Yeah.
Lakini, mimi niamue, okay, that's you. Me, I want to experience it for myself. You get? And then I go and experience it, and I get the same result.
Or maybe worse.
Or maybe worse.
Yeah.
And then I come back to you, having wasted all that time. And I think this is the problem that we have as Africans. Most parents have experienced pain and trauma. But instead of teaching their children, this is what I did when I was young, I do not want you to go through the same thing. You decide and say, mimi nimepata hii pesa peke yangu. So you go and work for your money. You are not getting anything from my house. You are not getting any support. You get? The child goes and goes, as the child goes through the same path you went through. Abraham na Isaac. Do you know Abraham, the wife of Abraham was Sarah, sindio?
Sarah, yeah.
The wife of Isaac was Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Do you know there's a king called King Abimelech. So Abraham wakienda kwa the city, walipatana na the king, but before wapatane na yeye, Abraham akasema, bibi yangu mazee ni mrembo sana. Let me lie that she's my sister, lest these people take her to the king and make her the king's whatever.
Yeah.
So akadanganya. And then she was taken, and then the king akajua, oh, huu ni sister yako. King akampatia mali, akamwambia, hey, mazee jo, kula ma cows, kula chukua ma goats, nini, akamuongezea. But ikafika mahali God aka punish the king. And the same thing happened to the son. The same exact scenario. The son was going to the same city. Because Abraham did not speak about that experience to the son. The son experienced the same exact thing. Akadanganya pia yeye, bibi yake, sister yake. The same thing. King akapatana na yeye. Sasa king kwanza wakakasiwa na wase wote wa hiyo nini. I think it was boils ama ni they were plagued. A king akaitana akasema, why did you lie to me? Akasema, please ombea Mungu wako tafadhali pia nisaidie tu hii story ishe. Na wakasotiwa, hadi king akasema, chukua bibi yako muende na nimewaongezea mali. So you see such an experience, it's like a small thing, but he could have avoided that situation. Sometimes unaangalia tu hiyo kama story ya kawaida, but these are things that go to generations. As thinking, a parent tells you experience is the best teacher. So si mimi niko na billions, endo hustle, I'm not giving you anything. But the same Bible says, a wise man is he who leaves inheritance for his children's children.
Yeah. Okay.
So how is it possible that wewe unapata njia ya kupitia, you go through the storms, you go through storms, na umepitia hizo storms zote, alafu unataka mtoto wako go through the same exact situation. You are not advancing. That's mimi kwangu. I don't know if it's that you can tell us if that's the truth. To me, that's poverty mentality.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's a selfish thing of mimi sitaki wewe ugain. So I want to hoard everything I have. You get? And that's why books are there. Audio books or novels. For you to get that experience without actually going out and experiencing it. So ukitaka kusema hiyo experience is the is good, it's good, yes. But if you want wisdom, there is wisdom available already with people who are dead, or people who have written books and still are alive, or people who are sitting down here, that you can see, okay, by the way, I need to consider this. So even when you decide to do it, you'll have enough information. Kenye nilikuwa nasema tukioko juu, you know too much to remain the same.
True.
It's not that you have done too much, you know too much to remain the same.
Yeah.
That's why inasema mimi kwangu experience is not necessarily the best teacher.
The best. Okay.
But that's for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Spawned podcast. That was a very short nini. I don't know if it's short, but see you on the next one.
Short to detail.